Hello, everybody. I feel like I'm on one of those space training chairs. Okay. Wow, I'm dizzy now. Oh my gosh. Wow, I would not pass astronaut training. Anyway, Roger says hey. He's got a new helmet on today. He's ready to go out into space. Scarlett says hey too. She's got a new bandana on because she got a bath this morning. Scarlett? You want to say hi? Scarlett. So today is the day that we get back to space on my channel. The last time I did a video on space was when I learned about the Indian space program, and I really do like space stuff. I just, other videos kept coming up as more of a priority. So we're getting back to space stuff. I just kind of looked at some of the videos that I had saved over the past few months, and this one looks like it would be interesting because it'll kind of tie in with the history stuff that I've been doing, especially on the Second World War, both on Patreon and here. This video comes from the channel Mark Felton Productions, which is a legendary YouTube channel that I've only actually done one video from in the past on the Vulcan bomber. If you guys haven't seen that one yet, you can go check it out. But I remember really enjoying that video, and so I think this one's going to be good too. But apparently the Nazis beat both Russia and the US to space. So let's check it out. Let's see what the Nazis were doing in space. Dramatic music.
The internet, that great fountain of information, has been awash for years with stories and rumours, many based on historical evidence that the Nazis made it into space, perhaps even building a base on the dark side of the moon. Fictional accounts from the fevered imaginations of fiction writers who penned sci-fi novels on this subject decades before the invention of the internet have provided a fertile base for such beliefs, and even Hollywood has jumped on the Nazis in space trope with films like Iron Sky. Too many such stories.
Okay, I've never seen that film before, but what are these pictures from? I mean, not that they couldn't be doctored or anything. I mean, this is the moon. Is there a Nazi symbol on the moon, apparently? What in the world? I thought that he was going to say that this is from like a movie, but maybe it is. I don't know. It looks real, though. It looks like real surveillance footage.
In space trope with films like Iron Sky. Too many such stories seem perfectly plausible, considering how technologically advanced the Germans became in World War II. Well, in fact, the internet rumours and pulp fiction novels are based, often unwittingly, on a surprising truth. Nazi Germany was the first nation to enter space. Forget all about moon bases, flying saucers and Nazi astronauts. The real truth of how Nazi Germany began the space race is astounding, well documented, and surprising, depending on how you define where space begins.
I'm wondering if this is going to be talking about the V-Rocket. Is it the V-Rockets? I learned about those in the World at War series that I'm doing over on Patreon. They mentioned them a couple of times in there, and my patrons kind of explained to me what they were, but I'm wondering if that's what he's going to be talking about here.
Well documented and surprising. Depending on how you define where space begins, determines the year that Nazi Germany first entered space. According to the internationally recognized Kármán line, space begins at 100 kilometers or 62 miles above sea level. However, NASA defines the beginning of space as 50 miles above sea level. So according to the NASA definition, the first man-made object to enter space did so on the 3rd of October 1942, when a German V-2 rocket reached an altitude of between 85 and 90 kilometers above the Earth during a test firing from Peenemünde in Germany. At this point, General Walter Dornberger, the director of the Vengeance weapons program, is said to have stated, "Today, the space age is born." Each V-2 rocket was 14 meters or 45 feet 11 inches in length and weighed 12,500 kilos or 27,600 pounds. With 25 tons of thrust from an alcohol and liquid oxygen-fueled engine, the V-2 could deliver a nearly 1-ton warhead at supersonic speeds of up to 314 kilometers or 195 miles away. If you believe that space actually starts at 100 kilometers or 62 miles, the so-called Kármán line, then the first man-made object to enter it was, you've guessed it, a German V-2 missile. In June 1944, during vertical testing, a V-2 reached a recorded altitude of 189 kilometers, or 117 miles above the Earth. The question is, did any Nazis actually make it into orbit? The inventor of the V-2, Werner von Braun, wanted to modify a V-2 to carry a German into space. A V-2 couldn't achieve orbit, but was technically capable of putting a man into space on a suborbital trajectory. In the early 1940s, von Braun's team studied evolving the V-2 into a manual rocket plane. This version, called the A9, had wings to extend its range from 250 to 550 kilometers. But to be truly a spacecraft, the second stage had to be planned, the A9-A10 manned ICBM. However, in 1943, the Nazis prohibited all further research into manned spaceflight in favor of the war production of V-2 rocket bombs. But by autumn 1944, Allied advances had pushed the V-2 batteries beyond the range of southeast England, their primary target. The A9 project was hastily revived. Von Braun created the A4B, the prototype A9. 5 were built by the 24th of October 1944. The first was launched on the 27th of December, but crashed very close to its launch pad. The second was launched on the 24th of January 1945. It reached 80 kilometers above the surface of the Earth, pitched over into a stable glide at 1,200 meters per second, and then one wing broke off.
Is this the footage from the actual rocket that they sent up? Did they put cameras on them? Or is this taken from something else and just kind of overdubbed?
The program was ended thereafter. But that's not the end of the space firsts for the Nazis. After Germany surrendered, the Americans, British and Soviets raced to snatch rockets and scientists.
What is going on with this guy's arm? Is that Werner von Braun? I mean, did he have like an accident with one of his rockets or something? Or what the heck?
Americans, British and Soviets raced to snatch rockets and scientists. The very first film of the Earth taken from space was made by the United States using a captured German V-2 missile. On the 24th of October 1946, rocket number 13 blasted off from White Sands, New Mexico, reaching 104.6 kilometers altitude.
Okay, sorry for all the pauses, guys. That must be the footage that they were showing then, was that.
Took a precious few seconds, 104.6 kilometers altitude, and took a precious few seconds of black and white footage showing the curvature of the Earth and the blackness of space beyond.
Wow.
The V-2 program was an ultimately evil creation that killed 12,000 slave workers to build 6,000 rockets. 2,000 of those rockets hit targets in Britain and Europe and killed over 5,500 people. The Nazis sank an astounding $2 billion into the V-2 program, the same amount as the Allies spent on the development of the atomic bomb in the Manhattan Project. Militarily, the V-2 was a failure and actually hastened Germany's defeat as resources were squandered on its development. But there is no denying the scientific achievement of getting a man-made object into space. From this dark genesis would emerge the peaceful exploration of space today.
Yeah, so his final thoughts right there about like how the peaceful exploration of space emerged from this dark era of, Nazi technology or whatever. I mean, I was thinking that during this thing, yes, they were horrible weapons that killed a lot of people, but they also paved the way for, space exploration as we know it. I did think it was interesting that the Americans captured one of the rockets and then, I guess, experimented with it, put a film camera on it, and got those first pictures from space. I don't know up until that point if they'd had that vantage point to basically see the curvature of the Earth. Now maybe some planes had gotten up far enough to be able to see that. I mean, I guess you can technically see it on the ocean if you're just on a boat, you can kind of see the curvature, but to see it from that vantage point from up in space where you can just see a large swath of the planet all at once, that must have been an incredible experience for the first time. I've always said that I was really impressed with the German engineering, like their ability to, just be great engineers and come up with with stuff like this and figure stuff out. And to some people that might be controversial to say because this technology came out of a really horrible thing that the, Nazis were doing. A lot of people hate that America worked with Wernher von Braun in NASA and all of that. Again, like, I don't know his full background, but at the same time, I can admire him for his engineering prowess, helping NASA come up with the Saturn V rocket, which was a huge achievement of technology and engineering. And again, he was instrumental in paving the way for current space exploration. So anyway, don't take that as me like approving of the Nazis. Some people are going to take that the wrong way. It's not what I'm saying, guys. I'm just saying that it's impossible to study things like NASA and space exploration without acknowledging what Wernher von Braun did for it. So, and I guess we have the Germans to thank for kind of kicking it all off. But I do plan to do more videos on space exploration, space programs, just, space in general, and science stuff too, because that all goes together, I think. Yes, my interest does lie outside of history as well. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button. I would appreciate that. And also subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet. I enjoy learning about a lot of different things, and I need you guys to help me out. I always look forward to your comments. I also have links to all my social media and my Patreon in the description and my pinned comment. I also have a Star Trek podcast for all of you Trekkies out there if you're interested in that stuff. And my P.O. box is also in the description of the video if you're looking for that. Roger here, and I thank you guys for watching. Scarlett does too. She's right below me right now. Stay tuned for more stuff on space coming up, and we will see you guys next time.